ready to cut out a pattern, consult the back of the pattern envelope. Sizes may differ from store-bought sizes. Take measurements to determine size. The three most common measurements required for a pattern include full bust, waist, and full hip. Using your measurement you have just taken, use the guide chart on the back of the envelope to determine correct size. Using the back of the envelope, find the item of clothing you are going to be making, and depending on the size, it will tell you how much fabric you need to purchase. Now that you have your garment fabric, let's look at a few definitions for understanding it. First, the selvage is a firmly woven strip along each lengthwise edge of the fabric. It provides a finished edge. The lengthwise grain runs parallel to it, while the crosswise grain runs perpendicular. The bias is any diagonal that intersects each of these grains. A true bias is a 45-degree angle. Inside the pattern comes a pattern guide sheet. This shows, again, the body measurement sizing charts, as well as which pattern pieces you will need for each item you intend to make. Accurately cut out required pattern pieces and using a low iron setting, remove package creases. Patterns usually come with multiple sizes. If you don't want to use the biggest size, but don't want to cut it off, fold back on adjustable sizing lines. The grain line is one of the most important parts of pattern layout. To determine grain line, you will take a measuring tape and evenly measure from the grain line to the selvage edge. It's important to measure in multiple spots along the line to ensure even placement. For petite sizes, use the adjustable lines located on the pattern to lengthen or shorten pattern pieces. If you have a diagonal grain line, measure the same way. Your pattern piece will just be diagonal on your fabric. Some pattern pieces may require you to place on fold. For this, fold fabric over and then line up directly on fold, pin, and cut out. Adjust patterns so that they do not overlap. If you're working with nap fabrics such as corduroy, make sure pattern pieces align with the nap. When working with plaids, there's a couple of considerations needed. First off, you need to make sure that the crosswise lines of the plaid need to match so that the lines are continuous around the body. The best way to do this is working to match up the plaids from the center of the fold to the selvage. Continue to pin the crosswise plaids together, moving down through the fabric. It's okay if you want to skip a couple of the plaids, just make sure it's secure in multiple locations. Another consideration when dealing with plaids is considering where to place the dominant crosswise bars on the body. Once you have decided where you would like the dominant plaids to be on the body, lay out pattern pieces. Remember, when working with a woven plaid, it is not necessary to measure from the grain line to the selvage because each bar represents a lengthwise grain. The last consideration when working with plaids is making sure the garment has a balanced look. This means matching up plaids at the top and the bottom to create an overall cohesiveness.